It looks like we are in, y'all.
Hey.
Welcome, Fit Pros. Hello, hello. Welcome. As you are walking in the room, please say hello. Say hello to my guest, Abbie Appel. This is the Fit Pros Show. I'm Kelly Coulter. This is the interactive live show created for instructors and personal trainers in order to connect you with information, resources, and each other. This month, we're doing a takeover from SCW Fitness Education, which means that every single episode, I'm interviewing faculty and staff from SCW Fitness Education. And that will culminate with Dallas Mania Live in August. August 21st is the start of Dallas Mania. And that is a streaming conference this year that will not be in person. So don't go to Dallas.
Don't do it.
And for more information about SCW Mania Dallas, you can go to scwfit.com/Dallas. All right. And so say hello to us in the comments. Please give us your likes and hearts. And say hello to Abbie Appel.
Hello, everybody.
Abbie, I have been letting the guests kind of give their own introduction. So I would love for you to just tell us a little bit about yourself and your background. You have an illustrious background, a ton of experience. Of course, that is why you are one of the faculty presenters for SCW. But will you tell us more?
Sure. Well, just remember, just so you all know, my voice decided to go away today. So just bear with me as I tell you a little bit about myself. I've been in the fitness industry for about 30 years.
Wow, that's awesome. You look great.
Thank you. So 30 years. I teach just about everything except for Zumba and yoga. I'm a fitness consultant, so I work for a few different companies as a master trainer and a program developer. Currently, I'm working with TRX. I'm a master trainer for TRX. I also work for Core Health and Fitness right now, who is the parent company of Schwinn Cycling, Nautilus, Star Trek, Stairmaster. But I've also worked with Spray Products. I got my start with education with Reebok University. Back in the day. And I worked for a Pilates company as a master trainer. So I was teaching lots of trainings for large apparatus, small apparatus, up and down the East Coast, all the way into the Midwest. And that's it. I still teach. I teach most of my classes now virtually, but I still teach a lot of classes.
Do you consider yourself more an educator or a teacher? An educator of teachers.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I really consider myself more of an educator now. I mean, you have to be a teacher. You have to be in the laboratory. And I call my classroom the laboratory. You cannot be a good educator unless you understand, a fitness educator, unless you understand what fitness professionals are going through in their real life, what they're teaching, the members they're interacting with every day on a personal level, then also on a professional level, even with regards to movement and cueing and progressions and modifications and all the different demographics that we're dealing with. So you are a much better educator if you're actually in the classroom teaching a few classes a week.
Beautiful. Yeah. All right. So will you tell us a little bit? I would love to hear how you got your start in the industry. And I'd like to add on to that and tell us how you got your start with SCW.
All right. So I'll start with my start in the industry, which is kind of interesting. So I started, I've been working out since I was probably 14 years old. Mm-hmm. Like I wasn't an athlete, to be honest with you. I was not an athlete. I was a cheerleader. And my major in college was vocal performance. You cannot tell, but I sang opera for that's what I say when I lost my voice. I'm like I sang opera, classically trained singer for years and years and years. So I was exercising when I was very young. I was also singing, but I dated, ready for this? There's a reason I'm saying I dated somebody. You're getting into your dating life. So when I was 15 years old, dating. I'm like, I don't know if it's dating, but I was kind of going out with the athletic director's son of our high school. And he was a wrestler, and he would take me to the gym, like at 15, 14 years old, and he would lift weights, and I would put the plates on the rack for him. That was my working out. I would pick up 40-pound, at 14 years old, I'm picking up 45-pound plates and putting them on the bar for him. Anyway, he taught me a little bit about exercise. And when I finally got to college, my major in college was music performance. When I got to college, I recognized that I was, let's say, losing my fitness level.
The freshman 15.
The freshman 15. And so I started exercising again and started exercising, let's say, to extreme. It was a little extreme because I wanted to take that off the first year, which I did. It became a little extreme. But anyway, I was exercising. And really how I started teaching classes was I went home, school in the summer, and I was already in the choir. We had a traveling choir. We would travel around the country at the holidays. And I was in the traveling choir. This is, closer to, say, my sophomore year, my junior year. And I needed a way to make money to go on this trip. So there was a little women's only fitness center that opened across from my house. And I walked in and I said to the woman, her name was Courtney. I said, do you need any personal trainers? Because it was super small. I mean, literally it was the size of my bedroom. And she goes, I don't need personal trainers. Not that I had any personal training experience. I was just working out on my own.
Do it.
I was going to help. I'm going to go in personal training because I know everything about it because I worked out on my own at like 19 years old. Anyway, she goes, I don't need personal trainers. I need group instructors. I need aerobic instructors, as we called them back then. And I said, I don't know anything about teaching aerobic classes. And she said, I will teach you everything you need to know. And, when you walked in her door, the glass door said idea on it. It said idea. I had no idea what that was back then. I was like, okay. Anyway, so now I have a lot more insight into that fitness organization. But she taught me everything I needed to know about teaching 2, 3 types of classes back then. Step, which first came out. High, low impact aerobics, because we weren't doing high at that point. We were doing high and low, and then low impact. And then your basic conditioning sculpt class. And she started me out by teaching me, it was the way that it's really the way we should be teaching instructors today. But she taught me how to teach a warm-up first. And then she said, you're going to teach the warm-up. That was it. Then she says, now I'm going to teach you how to do a cool down. And you're going to teach a cool down. And that was it. That's all I taught. Then she said, okay, now you're going to come back and you're going to teach the warm-up and the cool down. And that was it. And then she taught me how to teach the workout part. And then I only taught the workout part without the warm-up and the cool down. And then eventually, after 5 or 6 classes, I taught all of it together. So no one threw me into the class and said, go teach the whole class by yourself. It was little chunks of the class. And I'm telling you, because I'm always scared to start something new. I've been that way my entire life. It was, let's just say, a less daunting task to teach the workout in segments than to teach the whole thing. So that's how I got started. And then eventually, when I graduated, I did not. Here's what happened. When you're a music performance major, you got basically 2 choices. You can go on and you can be a teacher, or go on and get your master's. And at that point,
it's very similar.
Right. And I hate at that point. It's like everybody's good and everybody's a good singer by the time you graduate. I mean, really, everybody's good. They don't weed you out of singing by talent. They weed you out by drive.
Yes.
And exactly. And I realized at that point, I didn't have the drive. So I was already teaching classes. I was teaching classes at home. I was teaching classes at school because they had a little fitness center. I mean, nothing compared to what you see at universities today, but it was a little fitness center. So I took on the task of teaching some classes and then eventually came back home and realized I still wanted to teach. So yeah, and that was kind of, let's just say it took me another year or 2 to actually get into teaching, but I finally came back to teaching after I finally moved to Chicago because I'm from Indiana. Hoosier. Anyway, moved to Chicago.
Have any Hoosiers here? Put it in the comments. Let us know.
Hoosiers. Anyway, I moved to the city, started teaching more classes, and that grew. I was actually teaching at some of, I'd say, really some of the most prestigious clubs in the city, East Bank Club. And what East Bank Club did for me, it got me teaching more formats, but it thickened my skin because even more so than, music, which that also did, because everything's a performance. But the members there, like the first class I taught there, they made me cry.
Yes.
But I didn't stop. I'm like, I'm coming back and I'm going to do it again because I'm like a glutton for punishment. Anyway, so that was it. Yeah.
I have a goal that when the ladies that would come in and they didn't like the look of me or whatever it was, and they just right away had a bad attitude about me, that I was determined over the next 4 to 6 weeks, they would be my best friend. They would be in love with me, and I would do everything I had to do to make sure that those women loved me.
Right. And that happened.
And I would quit their class.
You will like me.
You
will love me.
And I'm going to quit you. Well, that's a great story. That has a lot of similarities. I'm hearing a lot of people say that they kind of, and I think this is the way it was back in that time. You did not grow up thinking I'm going to be a fitness instructor or I'm going to be in the fitness profession, because it just wasn't really a thing. Gyms and like working out versus athletics only came in like the 80s. So if you were raised in the 70s or 80s, that wasn't a thing that you aspired to. But those of us who have that in us, I think, saw ourselves in the people who were doing it. And we just went up to a gym owner one day and said, I would like to do that. And that's how a lot of us got our start.
I love it. Yeah.
So that was great. That was a great story. What is your favorite thing about your career?
Well, one thing is you're always moving.
Mm-hmm.
You're always moving. I love that. Yeah, you're always moving. You're always active. At no point I'm never really still, which is good because I'm one of these people that just moves. And then I'm like, and then I move, and then I'm out again. So I'm a little hyper. I'm always moving. I'm always excited. And I love that's one. And the other thing is that you're always, most of the time, not always, but most of the time you're around happy people. You're around happy people.
Nice.
People.
I'm writing down your answers. I think that's really interesting because a lot of people have been saying it's the people, but they're not saying it in the way that you're saying it. I love that.
Yeah. People that come to the there are some exceptions, of course. People that they're kind of rigid, don't want to change. But for the most part, people are coming to the club and they're coming to the facility, and it's like they're anticipating a happy experience. They're anticipating it. They know they're going to have a good experience. It's rare. Even if they have a substitute, they expect a happy experience, and most of the time they're going to get it. It's because they come with that attitude. They come with this attitude that this is going to be fun. This is going to be good. I'm going to get a great workout.
When they leave, they will feel better.
Yes, exactly.
I think that almost makes you a happier person. You know that you can change everything about the way you're feeling by going and doing this thing, having this experience.
Yeah, and I think and I've changed a lot since I started teaching. I've been in management. I've been a consultant. That's changed just my attitude toward members. Just I want them to have a good experience. So just that personal experience that I give them and connecting with them. And I want to connect with them. I want them to walk out. I want them to feel successful when they leave the class. So my goal is as soon as they walk in that door, like I am on and I'm here for them. And so I want to provide them with a happy experience so that we all leave, we all leave feeling good.
I love that. Do you think, what kind of role do you think exercise plays in mental health and happiness?
Oh my God, what is that phrase that somebody said? Everybody's one workout away from being in a good mood or something like that.
Exactly.
Right? No, it's huge. It's huge because I have friends and family that have depression. Oh my gosh. And it's just amazing how you can, I mean, not saying I have depression. I think everybody's got bits and moments of melancholy in their life where you're kind of down or you're a little lackluster, and then you go to work out and like just endorphins and you feel so good about yourself. Just even the littlest workout, even just getting your heart rate up, getting your blood to flow for 10 extra minutes, 10 minutes of the day. Just
and that experience of knowing that you're in control of your experience walking through this world. And if you're having a bad experience, that you can change that.
Yeah, I mean, then they say that's what depression is really about. Depression is, we talk about it's, chemical imbalance and all that, but it really is that feeling of being out of control. What's coming next? What's tomorrow? So you feel like you're out of control when you go to you go to the club, go to the facility, your exercise facility, your workout. That's one thing in your life that you're in control of. You're like, I'm in control of my workout.
Yeah. Beautiful. Love it. And so this leads in probably to our next question. So there are 5 questions. You got them ahead of time, but we're just having a conversation here. How do you practice self-care?
I'm horrible. No, I am. Because I'm one of those people that like to move. So I have like some physical limitations. Like, I don't mean, I'm not disabled. I don't have any major like injuries, anything like that, but I have some digestive issues. We all do, but I actually have like a physical, one that you can almost put a name on. We're not going to get into that, but that holds me back. It forces me to take care of myself better. And I know when I'm not. So it forces me to get enough sleep. It forces me to eat well, which I always do anyway. I mean, I just, it's just part of me, but it forces me to eat better. It forces me, ready, this is great, to drink less. I mean, I have no choice. If I indulge or overindulge too much,
you won't be well.
I will not be well. So I have to get enough sleep. I have to get some rest. I have to get some rest during the day. Like I have to sit down and decompress for 15, 30 minutes, even an hour, as I lose my voice. Like right now, I'm like, you can see my voice is going. I'm sure that's just a piece of it. But I have to just bring my energy down. An hour, just setting aside an hour every day. And it's not necessarily, yeah. And so even before I go to bed every night, I'm like, okay, you're going to sit down. I mean, I read my Bible before I go to bed every night. So everybody's got something different, whatever that meditation is, but that's my time to like just decompress. And I read my Bible and I play a game of Scrabble every night.
On the phone, like with somebody else on the phone?
No, I'm by myself. But I'm like, Scrabble, go, with a computer on my phone.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
I get tempted to cheat. I really get obsessed with like I'm so worried that I'm not putting down the word that is going to get the highest score. And so there are these websites you can go to and you can put the whole board in and it'll tell you what the highest scoring word would be. And yeah, when I found myself doing that, like on every turn, I was like, okay, I got to give up the Scrabble for a while.
It tells you a lot about yourself. You're like, when you're cheating against the computer, against the Maven, you're like, okay, wait a minute.
No, it's again. So it was Words with Friends. So it's against like your cousin that you haven't seen in 15 years.
Oh, you have to win then. No, you have to win. Like, I'm better than you.
So how do you stay motivated?
Oh my gosh. I mean, I'm always motivated. I mean, that's the thing. It's funny.
That is what I'm hearing from the Fit Pros. When I asked this in the group, they were like, what? I'm always motivated. No, there's no.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. I'm always motivated. I'm always self-motivated. I mean, it's even hard to describe that because I know most Americans and North Americans in general don't move enough. They're not motivated to move enough. I think I don't know if the reward is being able to, fit into my clothing better. My jeans look better on me. Maybe just feeling better. My skin looks better when I whatever it is. I mean, it's just, I've got, and maybe I put a dollar sign on that. You know, I put, there's some goal, some little tiny goal. If I do this, then I will achieve this.
Mhm.
And, you know, that's how I motivate myself. And just, it's just a matter of just, you know, it's staying healthy. And I want to stay healthy. Not that I want to stay young. I want to stay healthy. You know, growing old is, what do we say? Is,
Not for the faint of heart.
not for the faint of heart, but it's a privilege.
Oh.
It's a privilege.
I'm
Not
so
everybody gets
sorry
to
I
grow.
interrupted that sentence. That was so much
No,
better than mine.
it is, but it's a privilege. My dad died at like 64 because he was morbidly obese. I mean, I'm sure somebody's going to hear that, but it all comes down to him, you know, not taking care of himself. So I'm like, is that a goal of mine to stay healthy? Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, very good. So what do you see right now as the biggest opportunity for the fitness industry and for fitness professionals?
Ah, that's great. Oh my gosh. Well, I think, believe it or not, I think this virtual world is an opportunity for all of us. I think the technology part might be a little tricky, especially for, let's say, Generation Xers and people that might be a little, because it is. It was even a challenge. Even a challenge for me. I got lucky because SCW and Sarah Cooperman, I work with them, and we were already doing this. We were already doing this
Her
virtual
technology
world.
is amazing.
Incredible. So she kind of forced us. She's like, no, you're going to do this. No, we're going to do this. And this was back in September of 2019. September 2019. So we were already doing this. So this is huge for all of us fitness professionals that we're able to reach a much wider audience. Oh my gosh. I mean, I look back even to the first mania that we did, the first virtual mania we did, and we had what, over 1,000 people. And there were some of my workshops that had, the virtual ones had over 200 people in them.
Yeah.
Right. So
wider geographic audience. You're not inhibited by the geography anymore.
Right. Exactly. So am I able to connect with these people through Instagram? Oh, yes, absolutely. Am I able to connect with them in one place at one time? In one location? Oh my gosh, yes. So that to me is just huge. And you know, different populations as well, different demographics. So I think that fitness professionals really should take advantage of this and find ways to connect with their audience. You know, all of us have a brand and all of us have a little niche. Maybe we haven't figured out what that is, but this might be that time to search inward a little bit and see who you are, what your brand is, and who your population is, who your demographics is, who you want to work with. Because that's really become apparent to me now too. Like I want to work with people that are self-motivated, that want to change or that want to improve, not again, their life, want to improve their fitness level, whatever that is. So finding that person that you connect with, finding that population that you connect with, we have a much greater opportunity now to do that than we ever did. Now, with that said, are there some, not limitations, but are there some obstacles that we have to overcome with this virtual world? Because before it was just connecting one-on-one and you knew right away, almost within a minute or two, if you're going to like that person, right? Now it takes a little more time and maybe you've got to type some things in there. It takes a little more time to also connect with that person and just get a feel for them, because look where we are. It's you're over there, I'm over here. So it takes a little more time and a little bit more effort, but God, it is such a huge value to be able to connect in this virtual world.
We're in an amazing time.
You're right.
I keep saying that I feel like 2020 and 2021 is the year or years that the individual instructor and personal trainer find their way to find their audience and make a living outside of an institution.
Right. Right.
It just has to be, because we don't know what's going to happen with the institutions, and we have such an opportunity to serve specialty and niche populations with of a wider geography. We're not limited by geography anymore.
Right. And I think also this opportunity, like I've been hearing from so many instructors that said that they were teaching all of their classes, all of their programming at one facility.
Mm-hmm.
And then I hear that facility went under. And I've always said, like, expand.
Yeah.
Teach at more than I know. So there are some facilities that offer you incentives to only teach at that facility. They offer you healthcare. They offer you benefits. Fantastic. But if that facility goes under,
you have to be
or close, you've got to diversify. You have to keep your hand in different buckets and be able to teach more than one format. I mean, again, yes, I have my brand. Like, I've been teaching Pilates now for 20 years, but I also teach HIIT and cycling. And all of those, do I bring some of the cueing, some of the not programming, but progressions that I would use in Pilates into those other programs? Oh yeah. So my brand still transfers over to cycling, to high intensity interval training, to strength classes, to sculpt classes. It still translates to those other formats, but that's still my point. Yeah, my Pilates is still part of my brand.
So I'm thinking of a question that I wish would have been on this list, but it's not, and I'm going to ask it to you.
Oh no.
It's something we've asked each other and kind of pulled on in the group before. How much do you work out outside of teaching?
I'm so happy you asked that.
Thank you.
Here we go. So my workouts used to be in my classes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, honestly, they were my classes because everything we did used to stay with the beat of the music. Mm-hmm. So I had to do the class with them to make sure that we were all synchronized and we were all coordinated. I would rarely take breaks. So all of my movements were very muscular endurance based, but I also loved to lift on my own and do heavier strength training, but I just couldn't. I mean, I was teaching so many classes that I just didn't have the time to do it. So now a lot of my workouts involve coaching. Coaching. So a lot of time, like I show them the movements, show them 2-3 movements at a time, maybe 4 movements at a time, coach the movement, press a stopwatch and say, go. Then I walk around the room. So I'm not doing the workout with them. So I have to find time to work it on my own. Now I'm teaching anywhere from 5 to 8 classes a week. That's a lot. It really still is a lot, 5 to 8 classes a week. So now to find time on my own, definitely it's a challenge. So that means that I squeeze in 30 minutes here, 30 minutes there, whenever I can. Sometimes it's a 20-minute workout that I may do twice a week. Now my workouts, when I say 20 minutes of heavy strength training. And I read the funniest meme yesterday. What about cardio training? I just lift weights faster. So I do a little bit of cardio training. Most of my workouts, they're like 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Sometimes they're 45 minutes. And I do that multiple times a week.
What's kind of cool about the evolution of fitness classes and kind of our thinking over the last few years, we used to think it had to be an hour. It had to be an hour in the 90s and in the late 80s. And now people don't want an hour and they don't need it. That last 15 minutes was filler.
Right. Well, you're going to love this. So I think, and I can't remember the exact statistic, but now virtual training, you're going to love this. Virtual training, that they've done some research and found that participants that are taking classes online have about a 19-minute ability to concentrate.
That's their attention span. And then after that, they're like,
19 minutes. So I think it's like 19 to 29 minutes in that space that you start to, your attention span starts to wane. You're like gone. So
wow, that is interesting.
Right. I'm like, okay, so let's get it done in 30 minutes.
Love it. I love it. Yeah. So what is one thing, maybe it's the 45-minute workout, one thing that you wish you had known, that you know now, that you wish you had known starting out?
Oh my gosh. I think the biggest thing is that you're allowed to make mistakes. And you don't have to be perfect. And not the saying by any means that I'm perfect. It has nothing to do with that. I'm a procrastinator. And people a lot of people think that when you procrastinate, you're being lazy, or and really it just comes down to they think you're being lazy. She's lazy. She doesn't want to start that project. That's not what it is. People that procrastinate are scared to begin a task because we know how challenging the task is. And if you're a perfectionist, you don't want to make any mistakes. So you're afraid to start. And so sometimes knowing that I'm afraid to start, what I do, I come back to that, go back to how I started teaching classes. I break my tasks now into smaller, digestible pieces. And I start small. Starting small will turn into something really big. So I'm less afraid to make mistakes now, knowing that mistakes are not the end of the world. You're like, okay, mistakes are part of learning. But then I also start with smaller little pieces. So I take that task, I break it into little segments. What do I need to start with? What's the end goal? What needs to get done in the middle? What's I'm looking for? What's the timeline to get it done? And then it's just a lot easier, to start that task.
We talk about that a lot in my virtual studio business accelerator group. We'll talk about mindset, and we'll talk about perfectionism as really self-sabotage. And then also the idea of breaking big things into smaller things and then just documenting them and checking them off.
Right. I mean, I was talking to somebody about that recently, they were like, they wanted to do something brand new online, completely new group of people, something they really understand how to do. And I said, well, if you're doing this online, you'll have to create a presentation. Before you create the presentation, you want to create an outline of things that you're going to discuss. In your head, start thinking about all the things that you need to discuss, what order that you need to put that in so that other people can start doing what you want them to do. So, I mean, and it was my husband. So
I think you're really talking straight into my brain right now, because they have asked me for my outline for my Dallas Mania talk like 3 times, and I haven't done it yet.
I know.
So I'm busting myself out. I'm going to do it today.
I know. What I do is I create my objectives first.
Yes, there we go.
I always have objectives. I'm like, 4 objectives. What are at least 4, if not 5, but 4 objectives. And then I'm like, okay, how do I make sure that we hit each of those objectives in the workshop?
I love it. I think that is a great way for me to approach this. And I don't know why I have such a block about it. I mean, I'm on Facebook Live and speaking probably 15 hours a week, but for some reason I've got such a block about this presentation. So you guys, when you come to SCW Dallas and you see me present, it's called The Challenge, The Payoff. It will be amazing, I promise.
We have no doubt it will be. I have no doubt.
So speaking of which, tell us what you are teaching at SCW Dallas.
Oh, goodness. I am teaching some Pilates, teaching some Barre. I'm teaching Pilates at the Barre.
Oh,
yes. So really using your Pilates principles, your concepts, integrating those into Barre, which really the two are so well suited to each other, because we know that Pilates really integrates the core and Barre and the alignment of a dancer. And Barre was created by a dancer. It always focuses on posture. So the two really, really work together. I'm also doing some cycling for Schwinn. So we're indoor cycling. So excited. I think I'm doing one called Pimp Your Playlist, which is always one of my favorites because I love talking about music. My favorite subject. I get like really crazy about it, excited about it. And then I'm doing one called Breathy Not Breathless. Yeah. So it's about reaching aerobic capacity, not always having to work at anaerobic over that anaerobic threshold. So just staying underneath that, and all of the exciting programming that you can create and all the benefits that come from working at aerobic capacity versus over that anaerobic line.
Beautiful.
Yeah, fun stuff.
Oh, I'm excited to see. Well, beautiful. That is my last question for you. Do you have any thoughts that you would love to leave us with?
No, Dallas, first of all, thank you for having me. And thank you for letting me talk about SCW, Dallas Mania. And if you have not attended a Mania, oh my gosh, first of all, Dallas is one of our favorite conferences. So we're always trying to make that kind of like, that's the middle of the year. Like that's like the crescendo of the year. It's one of our favorites. So if you have not attended a Dallas Mania conference or a Mania conference in general, you have to come.
Beautiful. Beautiful. It's online this year. It's scwfit.com/Dallas. Abbie will be there teaching certifications as well as workshops, correct?
Yeah. Pilates certification.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. And I will be teaching is mine considered a session or a workshop?
How long is it?
An hour. I think it's an hour.
Yeah, it's session workshop.
Okay.
So anything that you're giving people ideas on how to improve what they're doing in their life, I think it's a workshop.
There we go. It's part of the business track, and it's at 9 a.m. on Friday.
Yeah.
So
I'm excited to see you.
Thank you. It'll be really good. We're going to talk about the idea that once I came on and started going live during COVID to help instructors go online and start making money and teaching their classes again, I created a challenge, and it's a week-long challenge, and it's kind of, gives you a kick in the pants to get out there, get online, start charging for your classes. And so now I've got the challenge that I do every couple months, and I've got the virtual studio business accelerator. And so I think that the expectation, I'm going to have to go look at the description that I wrote for them, but I believe I'll be walking people kind of through that, and then how they can do that to get monthly subscriptions for their online workouts.
Oh, that's great. Oh, good. I can't wait to hear about this. This is awesome.
So that'll be fun. Okay, so speaking of which, registration for the next boot camp is open. I'm going to put the link in the notes, in the comments right here. So y'all, if you are interested, it's this time. I am calling it why am I blanking? The Sell Out Your Online Workout Boot Camp. Oh. And so that will start August 24th, right after SCW Dallas. And we'll do that Monday through Friday. I will come on. I will teach live every single day. I'm going to give you a kick in the pants and make sure that you teach your first class and that you charge for it and that you are taking monthly subscriptions. And so that's what we do in that boot camp. It's 5 days long. Our last session will be Friday. So I would love for everybody to come in and join. It's a free registration. And I think that's everything we've got.
Yeah. Hey, but one more thing, I didn't mention this. I know you guys, this is probably on Facebook, right? But if you guys, look a minute, I'm going to tag myself. So if you guys, I post a ton of exercises and workouts, promoting SCW, promoting workouts, really Pilates, HIIT, cycling, playlists. So if you want to follow me,
excellent.
It's just my name. It's my name.
Apple.
Yeah. One word everywhere. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, it's just Abbie Appel. So at Abbie Appel, what you see right there, APPEL. So I just posted something this morning, with a foam roller. So all that material is free, and some of them are full workouts. So if you don't mind,
right now I see. Yeah. Oh, okay. You've got a page and you've got yourself in there as just an individual. So the page is Abbie Appel. All right, I'm going to put the link to it in the comments right here. Abbie Fit.
Yeah. Now, if you hate Abbie Fit is the page, right? And then Instagram is just Abbie Appel. I just always mention that if you don't like abs selfies, don't follow.
If you got them,
don't follow.
Oh
don't
my gosh! Look at those things. I mean, my goodness. I think I would be naked all the time if I were.
Oh my God! Somebody else said that. I'm like, all right, here we go.
Okay, so I put the link, y'all. So there's the link. Oh, I put it in twice. I don't know how I did that. But so there's the link to the boot camp and there's the link to Abbie. Thank you for mentioning that, because I know there are a lot of people that would love to glean some inspiration from your posts.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I love it.
Beautiful.
And I'll follow back.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being with me. It has been such a pleasure.
Thank you so much for having me, Kelly.
Hopefully we'll meet soon at an SCW conference in person.
Right? Soon.
Yes,
Few months. Few weeks. Few months.
There we go. All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you.